PICO has updated the streaming tool, PICO Connect, to version 10.1.5. It's quite amazing to see loads of improvements in a short span of 3 months. So here is a brief sharing some of the notable improvements and my experience in the latest PICO Connect. The most significant improvement is the quality of streaming. With Ultra HD Plus mode, the streaming resolution hits a whopping 3480 by 3480 per eye. The underlying AVC codec can do 300 megabits per second wireless and 1 gigabits per second wired. It's certainly a feast for the eyes. However, you will need a proper equipment to achieve maximum performance. The strain of 300 megabits per second streaming would knock out my backbone router, which is a Xiaomi AX6000, causing it to overload and reboot in minutes. You may need to use a dedicated router just for streaming. I have to get a router connecting to nothing but my computer and have the headset to enjoy the silky smooth streaming. The specs are spectacular on paper for sure, but we need to put them to the test. Let's compare it to the godlike mode of virtual desktop running on NVIDIA RTX 4090. The difference is quite pronounced to me. Do you prefer PICO Connect or virtual desktop? Let me know in the comments. Other than the streaming stuff, this version of PICO Connect also brings some user experience improvements, like on-screen keyboard. PICO Connect, due to the PICO OS or PUI restrictions, does not have a built-in keyboard, but now there is a keyboard button on the top right corner which will bring up the on-screen keyboard in Windows. Well, if we have to use the Windows on-screen keyboard, there is another way to achieve the same by utilizing the virtual keyboard for the tablet mode. So go into the Settings, System Tablet, click Change Additional Tablet Settings, and turn on Show the Touch Keyboard while there is no keyboard attached. The virtual keyboard would then automatically follow the input focus. Another feature worth mentioning is the in-game controller position adjuster. This mitigates the controller compatibility issues, while the overall compatibility with PICO headset is improving thanks to the developers and the community efforts. This tool is still a cool gadget. And there is also text sharpening. It is exactly what's said on the tin. Enabling this feature would sharpen the edge, making reading text on the screen much easier. A tiny ergonomic change is the auto start. If you are an avid VR player like me, the auto start is surely a tiny yet must-have feature. I'm glad it's finally added in. While PICO Connect 10.1.5 did resolve many of the issues in the previous version, there are still some wrinkles not been ironed out yet. In Steam VR, due to the restrictions set by Windows, you can't interact with privileged windows using an unprivileged application. In Virtual Desktop Classic, you can interact with escalated windows with ease. But would it be worth $15 out of your pocket just so you can click yes in the UAC prompt while wearing a VR headset? It would be nice if PICO Connect could be used directly in Steam VR. For VR chat players, there are still some manual assembly required if you'd like to use VR CFT support. You may want to follow this guide to configure PICO Connect so it would talk to VR CFT. And that's all the major issues I could find. PICO Connect is now what I consider a stable program. Both the streaming quality and the user experience are up to a general expectation towards VR gaming products. Especially, it's much more beginner-friendly. Long gone the days we fiddled with virtual desktop. There is still room for improvement. The multi-window function of the virtual desktop is a handy feature for some MR working situations. And it's even smoother than the Apple Vision Pro from my own experience. However, the PUI does not support such a use case yet. There is still no see-through home like Quest. But the rumors are PICO 4S is around the corner and PICO is eagerly listening to the feedback from the community and is actively iterating its software suite. We might be able to see a fully revamped PICO OS 6 with all the bells and whistles we have hoped for, While we may have to wait for the next big update to get those new MR toys, there are still some incremental features that could be implemented, such as Knuckles controller emulation via hand tracking and chroma keying. Both of these features are very handy for VR chat players.